Hello, welcome to Yoga for Osteoporosis. I do have a few things to say about that before we get started. So this Yoga for Osteoporosis session is geared for people with osteoporosis or maybe osteopenia, so not quite, but kind of heading in that direction, where you don't need the chair anymore to help you with your poses, okay? So we will be using blocks. We're going to be using a strap. We're going to be using blankets, pillows, kind of whatever it is you need. I've got a wedge over here to show that to you when we get to something. Absolutely use your wall. If you need to do even like a warrior two or triangle, any balance challenge, up against that wall, please do that. And this is kind of like the next step up from using a chair for your yoga practice. My goal is to have a chair yoga that's kind of geared a little bit more toward that need about once a month. But that's what this class is going to step up from that. Okay. That being said, let's go ahead and get going. So first, just take a moment. We're going to stand here and we're going to find our posture. So my hips, knees, and toes are tracking in this alignment. So remember, you want to be right where your hip bones are, if possible. It's not about how wide you think you are, it's about where your actual bones are. Okay. And look down. Are your feet in alignment with each other, or do you have one foot forward of the other? Are you able to correct that? Good. Now, just to kind of show your side view here, I have this long habit tendency of, I call it short person syndrome, where we're trying to be really tall, to meet taller people. So we tend to stand at attention and get this habit. So I lock my knees when I do that. It also puts pressure in my low back, which also isn't really good when you've got osteoporosis. So if you're in that same habit pattern, whether you're short or tall, just put a little softness in the knees so those hips, that pelvis can come back into neutral. So we're not in this anterior tilt. And your belly button's going to be in. Good. Ears, shoulders, hips, ankles may be in alignment. If not, do the best you can there. And then just play with your point of balance. Could you move a little bit forward and back? It's okay to put your hand on a wall if you need to do that. Good. Maybe a little bit side to side. And notice as you move forward and back, side to side, do you feel muscles in your fronts, maybe around to the back, firing up to support you here? Okay. So balance isn't always about being able to stand on one foot and not wobble over. Your core muscles are very much engaged in a balance challenge. Good. Now from here, when you're ready, I'm just going to turn back around here. Good. Let's take a big inhale and reach, 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 reach. Good. Turning palms away, growing taller from crown to tail. And we'll do that again. Big inhale, lift and reach, reach, reach. Maybe look up there at your hands this time. Turning palms away, growing taller from crown to tail. Good. Let's bend the knees this time and we'll reach. Good. And just a little bit of a bend, pressing through the heels and the glutes, coming all the way back up. Trying to keep the back flat here. Good. Use your breath. Use the belly. Good. And then just coming back up. Good. So hopefully it's just a little bit more comfortable to stand here. So you can create an intention for your practice. What would you like to give or receive from this practice? You can dedicate it to someone or something, or to yourself for giving you this time to make a change, a positive change for body, mind, and spirit. Okay. And while we're here, I'm just going to shift from prayer, taking hands over the heart. Let's do just a few little breathing exercises again. Your knees are a little soft, belly button is in. Let's inhale and expand that rib cage. And slowly release through the nose or the mouth. Inhale, expand. Exhale, release. Inhale, expand. Exhale, release. 2 rounds of counted box breathing. We'll go for 4. We'll inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Return to normal breath. Good. We're going to take our hands together here, and I'm going to make kind of like a temple mudra. Some people would call this Charlie's Angels mudra. Whatever makes you feel comfortable with that, you can take that. So, good. I'm standing in my feet. My feet are about hip width apart. I'm going to reach up. Good. Maybe squeezing the ears with the biceps and those arms. My belly button is still in. Going into a little tick-tock here. Just going gently from one side and the other. Good. Now, just show you from this view, when we go side to side, I want you to keep your hips where they are. We don't want to sway like this. Okay, that's something different. Keep your hips where they are as you go from side to side. Use your abdominals, your obliques, your waistline abdominals to help you here. Good. How far you go depends on your own body. Good. Now, on all of these poses, we're going to try to hold for about 4 to 5 breaths, which is about 20 to 30 seconds, depending on how fast you breathe. We're going to just take this over here and breathe. Try to expand that rib cage. When you're ready, and we'll come back up and other side. And just hold that. Breathing, expanding. You can come back to that intention. And coming back up. Good. Release those arms. Going into a little gentle twist here. So we used to tell people with osteoporosis, no twisting or like whatever. That's not entirely true. You can twist and should twist with osteoporosis as long as you are doing it from a nice long spine, not from compression. So to give you an example, here I am in that nice long spine. This is extension. I don't want to twist from flexion and try to do this. Okay, this is horrible. So try to be as tall as you can. Use your abs. And your hips and your knees can move with you as needed for this one. The other thing I'll say here is always, once we get moving here, move in the way that your body needs you to move. You will know how it needs to move. No two people's osteoporosis diagnosis is the same. Some people's spines look horrible on an x-ray, but they have no pain or symptoms at all otherwise. Other people's spines will look perfect on an x-ray, and then they have a plethora of problems, okay? So be mindful as to how you feel in your own body. Good. So we'll stand right here in Tadasana, nice little mountain pose. Belly button is in. We're going to do a modified sun salute here today, just one. So from here, I'm going to inhale and reach, and I'm just going to hold this here for a moment. I want to find this nice long stretch. Remember, knees are a little soft, and I'm breathing. Inhale, exhale. With knees bent, keep the spine long, and you can come to the floor. Now I'm going to bring my blocks in here. Good. And you can take blocks at any height that you need to. I'm keeping that long spine. Good. And then from here, I'm going to lift and lengthen halfway. Maybe you need to keep your knees bent more. Maybe they can lengthen. You choose, but the spine is long. Exhale, I'm going to bend my knees. Inhale, lifting back up. Exhale, bending the knees. Good. pressing through the feet. Let's come all the way up here. Inhale. Exhale. Hands to heart center. Good. We'll add on. Inhale, and we're going to lift up. Exhale, bending the knees as you fold, coming to your block. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway. Now you can get out of using blocks if you can comfortably touch the floor and keep a long spine. Exhale, and we'll fold here. Good. From here, we're going to step back into a plank, and I'm going to actually show you a couple planks here. So you can have your hands on blocks. It'll lift the upper body just a little bit here as you step back into a plank. So you can have this nice long plank here. You can have a knee down plank. If you're someone that has osteoporosis in the wrist and this doesn't feel good to you, you can take your forearms onto your blocks. Good. Knees can still be down, or you can come up here. If you don't need the blocks for your plank, no matter what kind of plank you're doing, then you can get rid of them. Good. So I'm just going to be up here. Good. Gonna see if you can breathe. 5 breaths only. It's about 20 to 30 seconds. Protract. You want to push that floor away. And you're still pushing that floor away even if you're on your forearms. You're making the elbows and the forearms push away for you. Good. From here, when you're ready, good. We're going to drop down to the knees and we're going to come to a child's pose. Find a child's pose that feels good to you. You can have your arms come forward. You can have your hands come back. Head can come to the floor or a block. Now, I like the slight flexion that child pose gives you because it's not deep flexion like some poses can do. But if you need to not be in even really this kind of flexion, then come up, take your knees a little bit wider, lengthen the arms, and then you can keep a long spine with this child's pose. You're taking some of that flexion out of it. Good. When you're ready, good. We're going to make our way into a downward facing dog. Some of you can come up into a traditional downward facing dog like this with no problem. If that's you, that's fine. Go ahead and go there. Other people need different things. So you can take a wedge, and these come in different kinds of wedges. Good. So you want the meaty part of the hand to be on the high part. So what that does is that distributes weights more into the back body. So it looks like this. Okay, you can always keep the knees bent here. Okay, that's one way to do it. You can put your hands on blocks. Putting your hands on blocks lifts the upper body, and so therefore more of the back body takes more of the load, so you take pressure off shoulders and wrists. You can also do this forearms on blocks or forearms on the floor. Choose what you need to do here. Knees can stay bent as needed. Head and neck does not touch the floor in any kind of downward facing dog that you do. And breathe. And then just noticing form a little bit. So here I am pushing or pressing evenly into my big toe and pinky toe mounds. Knees can be bent or long. That just kind of depends on your own abilities. My hips, knees, toes are in relative alignment. My ears are by my arms, whether I'm in forearms or up on my hands. And I'm pushing away from the floor. So I don't want my shoulders to be like my ears like this. I want to be able to push away. If you're not ready for this kind of downward facing dog yet, take a chair, put your hands on the seat or the back of the chair and lean back. That will be your downward facing dog. And then from this downward facing dog, good. From here, I'm just going to drop my knees back down gently. Good. I'm going to move my blocks out of the way here. Good. And then I'm just gonna walk my feet up. Good. Finding a nice long spine with or without your block. Use what you need. And then I'm gonna fold again. As I fold, my knees are bent, my back is long. Inhale, I'm gonna lift back up. Let's fold one more time. Bending the knees, long spine. Now try to push and get into the feet so the legs take your load. Good. As you come up with that long spine, coming all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Now let's do one more of those. Now that you kind of know the different options or whatever, choose the option that feels good to your body. Use what you need. So I'm going to come back just a little bit for my block. Good. So from here, let's inhale, take it up. Let's get another little tick-tock in here. Nice little side stretch. Gets into those areas of the back that likes to get stiff sometimes. Good. And then from here, good, inhale, exhale, bending the knees, long spine, coming to the floor, to the block. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway, long spine. Exhale, bend those knees, lower a little bit more. Inhale, lift and lengthen halfway, long spine. Exhale, bend the knees. Good. Doing what you need to do to get there. Find your plank pose. High plank, knee down plank, forearm plank. Use the options that you need. Push the floor away from you. We're breathing. So holding this for about 4 or 5 breaths also helps us build strength, strong bones, strong muscles, strong muscles, strong bones. Good. Based on where you went with your plank, lower the knees down. Find the child's pose option that feels good to your body. Good. From the child pose option, good. We're going to make our way into that downward facing dog. So you can do traditional if you're ready for that. Hands or forearms can be on the blocks or the floor. Find what you need. Yeah, I'm going to do this one today. Good. So find what works for your body. 4 to 5 breaths. And then when you're ready, good. In the way that's best for your body, good. Find your way. Good. Feet forward, back is long, maybe back with the block. Bending the knees, long spine. Lengthening. Bending, long spine. Good. Pressing through the heels, long spine as you rise. Exhale. Hands to heart center, finding that breath, finding your mountain, finding your intention. All right, we're going to step back into a warrior 2 here. Remember, this can be done up against the wall. And I'm just going to put these blocks to the side. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start with my left leg being the forward leg and my right leg coming back. Different things for different people's abilities. If you've had a hip replacement, be mindful of your alignment. So this back leg is going to turn out about 45-ish degrees, okay? So we're not parallel here. We're about 45-ish degrees. And rotate from the hip. Try not to let it all be the ankle. So you can have a heel to heel, heel to arch, which is more like this. Or maybe this leg needs to come out a little bit wider for more stability. Just make sure you don't take it out too wide, other than you'll get unstable again. So from here, just start with that step out first. Good. I'm going to make sure that I'm nice and firmly rooted in the back edge of this foot if I can. I'm going to take my front hip back just a little bit. Good. Now from here, just to kind of ease into it, hip, knee, and toe are going to track. Just put a little bit of a bend. Make sure you can still see that toe. and then press that out. Good. You want to be in the heel. Good. If you're in the heel, we'll take it a little bit out of the knee. Good. And then from here, if it feels okay for you to bend that knee a little bit, you can. If not, keep it long. Remember, you want the back edge to be grounded. So we've got our hips at a little bit of an angle. If you can, belly button is in. Could you rotate the chest here? So again, warrior two is a twist. And it's okay to take this twist because you're twisting from length, not from the compression. Good. Gaze is going to be over the front finger. Breathe. Good. Get into your heels. Get into the feet. Again, if you need to have a hand on something, like the edge of a chair, you can do that. You can be up against the wall if you feel a little bit wobbly. Good. We'll lengthen that leg. Good. We're going to transition to the other side. So I'm going to turn in the left foot. I'm going to turn out the right foot. So I'm getting all set in here. So I'm coming back into that 45-degree angle, hip, knee, and toe, turn about 45-ish degrees. I'm anchored through the back edge as best as I can. My front leg's going to be long for right now. Good. My front hip's going to come back. Good. And then from here, good. I'm just going to bend a little bit, getting into that heel, and then coming back out. And what we're doing here is, for one, for those of you that are brand new to this is kind of getting you used to the pose. For others, this helps lubricate that joint just a little bit more before we hold it. Good. So again, keep a longer leg if you need to do that. You can put a little bend in it. How deep you bend depends on your own body and your own flexibility, as long as you don't go past the ankle. Good. Hips are at that angle. Good. They will stay there. Twist and reach and work and breathe. Again, you can always have this hand on the back of a chair. You can do this up against a wall for stability if that's what you need. You can lengthen that front leg at any time. Return to your intention and your breath always. Strong muscle, strong bone. And then we're going to lengthen that front leg. Good. We're going to take the right foot in. Left foot's going to turn back out. Now, actually, most of you are probably going to have to step in. So we're going to go to a triangle here. Let's move this out of the way. Okay. And I will be doing this one up against the wall, but you may not necessarily need that. So different things for people's triangle. If you know that you need a lot of help here, for example, this is as far as you can go in your triangle. You can stack more than one block on top of each other. Just make sure that your base block is stable and you're not doing something like that where they might fall over. So always use common sense with your props. Good. Maybe you don't need them that high. You can always stack this way. You can always use one. I'm going to use one. Good. I'm actually pretty stiff today. So I'm going to have that block on the outside of my left foot. Good. I'm going to step my right foot back. So you're finding that same alignment that we just did in the warrior two. So you're at a little bit of an angle back here. Heel to heel, heel to arch. You can be a little bit wider. Good. Again, I'm zipping up. Good. So my front hip is going to come back. Good. Maybe you're up against a wall like me. Maybe you don't need that. That's okay too. Careful that this leg is not locked. So this is a soft knee. This is a locked out knee. That's not what we want. So keep a little soft. Front hip's going to come back. Lengthen. Press into your feet. And when you can come no more at the long spine, and that might not be very far for some people, you can be here. You can stack up your block. You can have a chair there. Good. I can go a little bit deeper, so I'm going to go a little bit here. Good. Taking my hand to the block. I want that block to be under my shoulder. Good. And then I'm in that long spine again. So nothing about this is humped over. Long spine. We're going to open up. Good. Maybe you can look up at the hand, maybe not. If you're up against a wall, that'll help you with balance a little bit here. In the beginning, I don't recommend having a really wide stance with the feet and the legs. But some of you might be there, so just kind of feel free to experiment. Everybody's alignment is different, just like everybody's body is different. And that will also change side to side, day to day. Good. Looking down at that front foot, putting a bend in that front knee to come out, and we'll come out. Good. So I'm going to do that same thing on the other side. Left foot's going to turn in, right foot's going to turn out. Find the alignment that works for you over here. Maybe you need one block, maybe you need 2 blocks, maybe you don't need any. Maybe you're a little bit more advanced and just know how to be careful here. Good. So then from here, when you're ready, my front hip's going to come back. Okay. Belly button is in. Good. Softness in the front knee. My right arm's going to come forward. Good. I'm going to lengthen. And you're going to come to where you can come. Long spine, no benzies. And then you can take your hands to a block here. Good. And once you're secure where you're going to go, good, then you can open up. So come down, make sure you're secure first before you open up. You can look up if you can. Front knee stays a little soft. We're breathing. The belly button is in. Remember, 4 to 5 breaths gives you about anywhere between 20 to 30 seconds, depending on your breath pace. And then looking down at that front foot, always put a little bit of a bend in the knee as we come back in from there. Good. Okay. So I'm going to just bring these out to the side. We're going to come to a mountain pose here. This is going to be our starting point. We're going to come into a tree, and we're going to open up the hips a little bit before we come into that tree. So always know, you can always be back up against that wall again. You can have a chair beside you if you need to keep a hand on it. Just kind of be mindful. So I'm going to start with my left leg first, hip, knee, and toe track. My belly button is in, and I'm just going to take my toes down here. So I'm kind of making a little kickstand. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that hip and leg forward and open to the side. And forward and open to the side. And forward and open to the side. And forward and open to the side. Now, give this leg a little bit of a break. It was standing there a while. Okay. So now we're going to balance on this leg here. So hip, knee, and toe tracks forward. Good. Find your little kickstand if you want to stay there, or a little bit more challenge. Good. If you have it, you can come up here. It's okay to hold it there, but you want to either be on the thigh, the shin, or the ankle here. We don't want to be on the knee joint. Arms can be anywhere that feels good to you. And I'm opening up to the side. I'm trying not to hang into the hip here. So I'm pressing into that left heel. Belly button is in, and you're breathing. Remember, you can always be up against the wall. You can always hold on to something. You're still building that strength. Good. And we'll take that down. Shake out this left leg again. We're going to take that all to the right side. So starting with the opening first, hip, knee, and toe of this right leg, track forward. Belly button is in. Good. We're going to be here and close. And open and close. And open and close. And open and close. And open and close. Step that foot down, shake out this leg. And we'll take that again. So right leg's going to come in, belly button in. Are you going to stay here to the calf, to the thigh? Take it where you're appropriate. Remember, if you're wobbly and you're here, you will not be magically stable if, going higher. So if you need to take the kickstand, take the kickstand. You can have hands up prayer, up high, out to the side. Press out of that hip. Try not to hang in it. Breathe. Almost there. Almost there. And we'll take that back down. Good. Shake that out. Good. All right. From here, we're going to make our way down to the floor. So for that, you can bring your blocks in here if you need those. I'm just going to come and do one. Good. So from here, I'm hip width apart. I'm going to reach up nice and tall. I'm going to bend the knees as I come down here, maybe using blocks to help. I'm just going to fold forward here just for a moment, just because that feels good to me. Good. And then bending the knees. Good. Taking the hands to the floor. Good. And coming down. I am going to cue us through a lunge. And I do love my blocks in lunge, even though I don't always need them. I just like them. They just are good to put on the brakes. So for this lunge, I'm also going to bring in a knee cushion here. So as I have my right foot forward, I'm going to cushion the back of my left knee. And how much and what kind of cushion you have just kind of depends on your own body. So I'm just going to kind of put that there. Good. And then step as best as I can my right foot forward. Your blocks can be at any height that you need them. Good. Now, you can slide this knee back a little bit more, or if that's not possible, take this foot a little bit more forward. You want to try to get that knee behind the hip here. Good. This knee, however, does not go past the ankle, and I've got a long spine. Good. My blocks help me put on the brakes to keep me from collapsing. Good. And that front heel is always on the floor. My belly button is in. Return to your intention. And as you get proficient, you might choose not to have that knee down on the floor. You might take it into a power move. Nothing wrong with that either. Good. And then when you're ready, good. We're just going to come back here. Good. We'll come into a little bit of a half split pose. I'm going to use my blocks again to put on the brakes. I want my hip to be over the knee. It's okay to, if you need to slide this foot a little bit more forward. Careful not to lock this knee. That's a common tendency. And for some of us, just a small lean forward with a long spine is all you need if your hamstring's really tight. Others, depending, might be able to walk a little bit deeper here. It just kind of depends on your own body. You know, blocks can be at different heights here as well. Kind of find that. Belly button is in. When you're ready, good. Carefully come out. We're going to do that whole thing on the other side. So I'm just going to move my blanket over to the right knee now, because I'm going to take my left foot forward. Good. When you're ready, good. Left foot comes forward. Good. Find your positioning that works for you. Are you going to take this knee back? Are you going to take this leg forward? Find what works good for you. Good. Your belly button is in. Front heel is down. This knee is over behind the ankles. You can have your blocks at any height that you need. Good. Long spine here. Breathing. And use the blocks to your advantage. Push into them. Push out of them. Try not to sink into them. And then once you're ready, good. We're going to take that back, coming into the half split pose. I'm just going to bring my blocks up a little bit here. Good. Hip is over the knee. Good. This leg is longer. It's okay if you need to slide it forward. Long torso, belly button is in. You can stay there. You can walk forward a little bit more if you've got more depth. Find what feels good to your body. Remember, pain, numbness, tingling, burning are never normal sensations for anything we do in yoga. If you ever feel those, you always want to back off until you do not. And when you're ready, good. We'll come back and come back up. Good. We're going to take this back again into a child's pose. I did not show it or talk about it in the very beginning, but you can always bring blankets in here for your knees for your child's pose as needed. So you can do a roundy child pose, or you can keep your back a little bit longer child pose. Belly button is in your child's pose. And breathe. And when you're ready, get hands under the shoulders and the way that's best for you. We're going to come to a Dandasana, which is a staff pose. So I'm going to sit up on a blanket. Some of you might need to sit up on a couple others or a big pillow, depending on what you have. But I'm going to sit on kind of on the edge, and I'm going to take my legs forward. There are some of you that are really tight back here, and maybe you need to put something under your knees to make that a little bit more comfortable, and that's okay if that's where you need to be. In fact, this actually feels pretty good to me, so I'm just going to stay right here. Good. And then from here, good. I've got my hands by my hips. Good. I'm just going to press in lightly, coming to a nice tall spine, and my belly button is in. My toes, my feet are facing me. This has a little bit of upper body strength, but this is also spine lengthening. You want a nice long spine. And then from here, we'll come a little bit at ease. Shake something out if you need to do that. Now we're going to go into a twist. So if you need to keep something under the left knee, you can. Otherwise, you can move that out of the way. I'm going to bring my right foot in here. And I've got about a fist width apart between that foot and that. Let me do this at an angle. Between that foot and the side of my leg here. Okay. And for some of you, just kind of hugging in and working on that length might be all you do today. Others are going to take this into a twist. So remember, we're always twisting from length. We don't slouch here and then try to twist. That's bad for the osteoporosis. So nice long spine. Good. My left hand is on the outside. I'm kind of coming here. My right hand's going to come behind me. I'm lifting, lengthening a little bit more. And then my gaze is going to follow my shoulders as I look behind me. Breathe and expand, 4 to 5 breaths. And we'll come back in. And we're going to take that all to the other side. Now my right leg's going to come long. Put something underneath here if you need to. Good. My left foot's going to come in. I've got that fist width apart here. Good. Kind of coming in. I'm finding that nice length. So my right hand is going to stay right here. My left hand's going to come behind me for support. Good. I'm pressing into the hand. I'm finding just a little bit more length in that torso. Good. And then gently twist. So how do you know if you're twisting too much? Well, pain is obvious. That's happening. If you can't expand the rib cage while you're in a twist when you're breathing, that's a second sign. And if it feels like it's cranking or crunching in your low back, that's the other sign. So you do want to be careful if you're new onto yoga in the beginning that you don't twist too deep. You will see people twist deep. I might be, twisting a little bit deep here for somebody, but it takes time to get there. This is not where I was when I first started. This is years of practice. And then we'll come back out. Good. All right. Let's come into a wide leg forward fold now. So I'm just going to readjust my blanket here. There might be some of you that need to put a blanket or some kind of cushion under each leg here, which should kind of look like that. If you need to do that, you're gonna take care of yourself as you need to. This actually feels pretty good, so I'm gonna leave this here too today. So hips, knees, and toes are tracking your ceiling. Good, you're in a nice tall spine, zip up. I'm gonna take my arms up, inhale, exhale. I'm gonna lean forward with that long spine. And then when I can come no more, my hands are gonna come down and I'm gonna rest right here. You can also do this with the chair, having your hands up there if you need that for support. Breathe and expand. And when we're ready, good, we're going to come up from here. Good. We're going to come onto our backs now. So I'm just going to move these blankets here out of the way, except for this one. I'll show you what we're going to do with that one here. You don't have to use this blanket. I'm just going to use this as an extra option for people who do need or want that. And I'm going to bring in my strap here as well. Good. So this just gives you a little bit of a lift and a bridge. And if you're going to use this in a bridge, it's very, very important that it is not underneath your neck. It is under the shoulders and below only, not behind your neck. Okay. So for me, this feels really lovely. And I can get just a little bit of an extension here too, without anything being too extreme. So bridge number one, hips, knees, and toes are going to track here, parallel hip width apart, right? Good. And I'm going to roll my shoulders back. I want to try to press my arms and shoulders into this blanket or this mat as much as I can. So another thing you can do here too to help is you can come to robot arms if you're afraid of your wrist getting involved here, and that will give you the same thing. And this is, I think, the one that I'm going to do today. So belly button is in. I'm going to press evenly into both feet. I'm going to press into my elbows and arms, and I'm going to lift. So your body will always let you know when you should not come up any higher. The other thing this blanket does is that when your shoulders are on it, you have a little bit more space behind the neck for people who need that. And then we'll lower that back down and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. You can do that one again. If you want to do the one, if you don't have osteoporosis in your wrists and your wrists are healthy, shoulders are healthy, and binding under here is okay for you, you can do that. If you're like, well, I kind of want to do that, but my wrists don't like being put together under there that way, I feel you. My wrists are like that, my carpal tunnel wrist. So I've got my strap. I'm going to take that strap right underneath the sacrum. You can have your hands in line with the shoulders, or you can start to work them closer together. That's a personal preference thing. But when you're ready, rolling shoulders back, pressing feet into the floor, you're going to lift up and you're going to reach your hands, strap, whatever it is that you have, towards your feet. And you'll get just a little bit of a different chest opener there. So this builds the strength in the glutes, around the hips. And you relax the glutes just a little bit from here. How does that change your bridge? And we'll take that down. Okay, now you can stay on this blanket if you're using it. I'm going to take it off because I don't need it anymore. And we're going to stretch our legs here with this nice little series. So if you've done other videos with me before, you've seen this series in Pilates, you've seen this series in other yoga classes. It is excellent for osteoporosis. But it's also just excellent by itself for no other reason other than it feels good. So I've got my strap around the right foot to start. I've got a bend in that left knee. I have a piece of my strap on each side. And then from here, just kind of do a little circle for a moment. Good. And then from here, good. We're just going to take that back a little bit, just a little bit of a hamstring stretch here, keeping a little softness in this knee. Upper body stays grounded. And then we'll release. Good. Both straps into the right hand. Both hips are going to stay grounded as you take that leg out to the right. And it's okay to wiggle around to find your stretch. Everybody's just going to look just a little bit different. If your left hip is popping up, your right leg is out too far. And we'll come up. Good. I'm going to lengthen this leg just a little bit here, switch out my hands. Find a 45-ish degree angle. So everybody's is not directly straight across. So you might have to wiggle around. This hip will come up just a little bit here for that one. Good. Release the foot from the strap. Cross the right ankle over the left knee. This might be where some of you stay for a figure 4 here, or you can pull it in. Find it where it feels good to your body. A less intense way of doing pigeon. Same stretch. And when you're ready, good. We're going to do that all on the other side. So I'm going to grab that strap. Good. Put my left foot in there. My right knee can stay bent. A piece of a strap in each hand. And I'm just going to gently tug that back, keeping a little bit of a bend in this knee. My leg looks completely straight. I'm pretty open in my hamstrings most of the time. A lot of people, might come back and this might be what you look like. That's okay. You look like what you look like. We all start somewhere. Release. Both straps into the left hand. Both hips will stay grounded. Take that left leg out to the left. Wiggle around, find your optimal stretch. Right hip stays grounded. And we'll come up. Good. Right leg will go a little bit longer, switching the hands, find a 45-ish degree arc. And coming back up, remove that foot from the strap. Good. We're going to cross that left ankle over the right knee. Good. This might be where you stay, or maybe you come in here. Find your figure 4. Upper body stays grounded. And release. Good. From here, just bring the knees into the chest. We're going to do one final little twist here, and then we'll have a short Shavasana. So from here, I'm going to give you the option based on how you feel. Let's bring this blanket back in here. Good. So option 1, you can take your right leg long, left knee's going to bend. Have something to prop that over as you come over here into a twist. Remember, you're twisting from length here, and that'll just kind of keep a little pressure off the knee if you want to do that. Or if you want both knees to come over, you can do that too. If you want them to come over, but maybe not quite that deep, put your prop under there. Find what feels good to your body right now. You will know. You will know. Maybe looking in the opposite direction. Head comes back to center. Let's be gentle. One leg at a time. If you've got both knees over, we'll come back to center. And then you choose preferably the same twist that you just did, using any props that you might need in there. And then we'll take that over to the other side. Looking to the opposite side. Returning to your intention. Always returning to the breath. And when you're ready, one leg at a time, we'll come back in. Good. You can bring the knees into the chest for a little squeeze here. And then we're going to go into Shavasana. So not everybody, especially in osteo, if you've got a back issue, likes this one. So you can always put a bend in the knee here. You can bring props in here as needed. I don't have my bolster out today, but you can take a couple stacked blankets and put underneath there if you want to. Maybe even a little bit of a neck pillow here. So find what feels comfortable to you. Maybe even being on your belly is more comfortable to you than being on your back. Find that. And then I will leave you here for a few short moments. Returning to your intention. Returning to the breath. Taking deep breaths here. Choose stillness. Or gently take head and neck from side to side, maybe wiggling fingers and toes. Choose stillness or taking knees into the chest. You can hold on the outside or underneath here, whatever feels good to you. If you want to rock, then you can rock. Or choosing stillness, moving any props out of the way that you used maybe during your Shavasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes. Find that full body stretch. Point and flex the feet. Bend and stretch the hands. Swirling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, rolling over to your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment. Taking all the time that you need here. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat, maybe sitting up on a blanket or a block, sitting nice and tall, sit tall. Noticing how you feel, hopefully a little bit more open, a little bit less stiff. Fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 touching those palms together. Exhale, touching thumbs right over the forehead for good and true thought. To the lips for good and kind words, and to the heart for open and loving heart. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted. No gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you stay well. May you have a wonderful day, week, month ahead. Namaste.